Hello and welcome to the StartupBREW Fargo podcast. StartupBREW is a weekly event hosted by Emerging Prairie in downtown Fargo, where we believe that entrepreneurship is energized over brews. Each week, we bring entrepreneurs, founders, and innovators together because we believe they succeed when they have access to each other and the community that supports them. To kick off our first ever StartupBREW Fargo event, we welcome Theresa, Garrett, and Kirsten Henagin, co-founders of Arise Communities, and Nancy Mwirotsi, founder of Pursuit of Innovation. Today, we will begin hearing from Theresa Garrett, co-founder and director of strategic operations at Arise Communities, where they believe in inclusive technology education with a goal to create a more equitable and diverse technology industry in the Midwest. Through judgement-free, inclusive learning communities, Arise Communities helps women and underrepresented groups explore technology in new and meaningful ways. Let's listen in.
Okay, I'm gonna try not to be nervous, but it is what it is. So some people have a clear plan on what their career is going to be. I thought I had it figured out as well. I would go to culinary school and I would become a diva chef on the Food Network. My plans changed my final week, of my sophomore year. When I turned on my computer and I had a blue screen of death. I lost everything, y'all. I mean, I'm talking final papers, my exam prep. I lost final presentations. I lost my entire first 2 years of my collegiate experience. And then that summer, I worked as a live-in nanny, and I saved enough money to buy a MacBook, which is really funny because now I work at Microsoft. That buying experience at the Apple Store changed my career plans for the best. Technology as a career never crossed my mind until technology failed me. It took me 2 years and countless rounds of interviews, but I became an Apple retail employee, and that started my tech journey and career. Good morning. My name is Theresa Garrett, and I'm a co-founder and director of strategic partnerships at Arise Communities. Thank you. Arise Communities is a nonprofit focused on building equitable and diverse workforce right here in the Fargo-Moorhead area and the Midwest. We offer a full spectrum of judgment-free technology education to diverse people groups. Really, we just want to see the technology industry look more like the real world. Arise is different because we focus on adults and those looking to diversify their skills. Also, we see a need on all sides of tech, not just coding and programming, but also human resources, finance, and other things other than coding and programming. 2021 is going to be a big year for Arise. We all know 2020, we don't even think about 2020. It never happened in our book. But 2021 is a big year for Arise. We have some pretty big BHAGs, or big, hairy, audacious goals. One of those big BHAGs is one, we would love to hire staff. And that means we want to hire an executive director to carry on our mission so that we can really do the work that we would love to do. Another thing that we want to do is we want to quadruple our impact, the impact that we have, and we also want to reach over 200 students to take our classes and become immersed in the Arise community. And also, we want to add to our curriculum tracks. So not only do we want to have HTML and CSS, but we would love to build out our curriculum tracks on data analytics and network security, just to name a few. Can you all do me a favor? Can you take out your phone? Open up a browser and type in this URL, www.arisecommunities, all one word and plural, .com/support. And when you all look up, we'll do it like in class, right? When you look up, I'll know that you're ready. And I'll say the URL one more time. It's www.arisecommunities.com/support. On that URL, you'll find where we want to go. And you'll also see that we want to quadruple our impact, we want to reach over 200 students, and also support. What it takes for us as a nonprofit in order to reach our BHAGs is we need support from our community, from you all today. If you're interested in supporting our mission and joining us along in our mission, we ask that you take a look at that page. And if you're interested, you can also set up a meeting with myself. Hi, Theresa, Garrett, Director of Strategic Partnerships. I would love to talk to you more about what it looks like to partner with the Rise communities and join us on this amazing ride that we look forward to riding down together. If you don't remember anything from what I said today, remember that URL that I gave you. Thank you so much. Arise Communities is excited to be in the Fargo-Moorhead area. We're excited to continue our mission and strengthen our roots and have more impact here. Thank you so much.
Next up, we heard from Nancy Mwirotsi, the founder and executive director of Pursuit of Innovation. Nancy grew up watching her father navigate his own entrepreneurial path, sparking a passion within her from a young age to follow her father's advice: never stop dreaming. Today, she's living out her dreams as she works with women and diverse people groups who have traditionally been underrepresented within the tech industry. They're working to build a tech pipeline that leads to more diverse representation across the field of STEM, showing low-income and underserved youth that they have the potential needed to break the cycle of poverty. Let's listen in.
Before I talk to you guys, can I talk to my young people over here for a second? Thank you for spending the day with us. Every day, I spend a lot of time with young people. You are some of the most underestimated humans on the planet. So when you live here today, though you made an impact on me, I feel honored to just listen to your music. So thank you. Don't give up. We're depending on you. COVID has just proven that we still have a lot of things that need to be done on the planet, and it's going to be you guys who take us there. So thank you. It's great to be here. I spend a lot of time with young people, so I had to talk to them. So okay, forgive me for that. But I am from Des Moines. As you can tell, I have a beautiful accent. I am originally from Kenya. I've been here for a couple of years, and I was in the process of helping a refugee lady that I found my path. It was about 17 years ago. I started working with refugees, and I grew up in Africa. I didn't even realize how privileged I was because I didn't even know what a refugee was. And I was helping this single mom. I was a single mother. And in the process of helping her, I just realized all the challenges the refugees were going through. So you know me, I'm a kind person. I was like, I'm gonna solve this. So I started picking up parents, taking them to work, meat plant job, which is about 45 minutes away from where we are. I was like, oh, I'm doing such a great job. And then one day, this woman that I started helping, I noticed that our kid was failing in school. And I'm like, well, I just felt guilty. I was like, here, yeah, I'm sending the parents away for work. And we forgot the most important people around her. Those are her children. And that hurt me. I am a tech dropout, so please do not drop out. And I decided, you know what? I kind of liked coding when I was in college. I just dropped out for my own reasons because, first of all, I felt like I was the only girl in the class all the time. So, but I wanted to build. And if you're as old as I am and you did tech back then, you know, tech wasn't as diverse as it is, not in terms of even race. It's also in terms of gender, but also in terms of things that people would do. So I always thought, oh my God, I'm just going to do data entry and customer service. Hated that. I hated the idea of sitting in an office in a cubicle. I'm like, I cannot do that. So I decided to come back into tech in a different way. And that is to get young people excited the same way I got excited. My first coding language that I learned was C++. I learned how to build a calculator, and I was like, I'm just going to teach you whatever. Find your way, find a path through me. So that's what I've been doing. And I was inspired by this mother and that child. So I started my journey with 30 young refugee kids, and I would force them every Saturday morning, pick them up, bring them to class. You need to learn this. They're like, we hate this. No, you're going to stick with me. And I am proud to say that the first group has already graduated high school and college. So that's good. And so in the years, I have continued to build on my mission, but I've also realized I'm very good at tapping underserved youth and low-income youth. So what I intentionally do in Des Moines before the pandemic was I hire we teach high school students. So I partner my high school students with a tech company. They help co-teach the class with the curriculum we have. Those kids go to that company, they do a job shadow, do final presentation. At the end, I make sure each kid goes home with a laptop. It's very intentional because I wanted to close the digital gap. That was way before the pandemic happened, and then people were like, oh my God, no, kids don't have access. Yes, they've not had access for a very long time. I take that very personal because without accessibility, kids cannot compete. We cannot expect our economy to grow if kids are not supported. Also, what I do, which I love, is I hire my high school students. I pay $15 an hour, okay, you guys? And I send them into the middle schools to teach STEM. For middle schools, we only do 8 weeks, and that's it. Like 8 weeks, we're done with you. We'll see you again next year. But what that has really done is create this peer mentorship model. So we have companies training young people, and then from there, they train the rest. Of course, the pandemic affected us, so we were not able to do that. So we're strategically doing a lot of things online. In fact, today I came with Mohammed, who is one of my mentees, and just finally got a job interview with Facebook, so I might be losing him to Facebook, but it's a great thing, isn't it? He's gonna be a program manager if he gets it. So that's what I try and do, is to change poverty in the best way that I know how, and my programs are very free. Now, with me doing what I'm doing right now, I have learned so much about giving back and the challenges that a lot of young people are facing. And COVID has just made me realize that we have a lot of work to do. And I'm hoping by being here, when I leave here, find me, be a partner, just like the same way you guys are building curriculum, where I am personally trying to build a learning platform. Because after being in the schools for about 7 years, I'll tell you this, our kids are not going to be able to compete because unfortunately, learning has not shifted. And future work is something that we should be concerned about. We are telling kids, you need to be successful, but yet they're not learning about basics, empathy in building AI, you know? Automation is taking things over. We cannot ignore these things. What are we doing? We're sitting comfortable. We're not realizing that just last year, everything shifted. So I personally want to build a learning platform. Hopefully you guys will support it. And I hope we can partner with some schools here and maybe teach, help guide you into the model that we're using. And hopefully you'll be able to see so many kids go through just like I have. So thank you so much.
After the presentations, we opened up our conversation to a live Q&A session with the audience to dive deeper into the importance of representation and opportunities for diverse people groups within the tech industry. This week, we were joined by our host, Emma McIntyre, who is also the lead coordinator of StartupBREW Fargo. Let's listen in.
Well, we are going to jump into arguably my favorite part of the day, which is our audience Q&A. So you guys will have the opportunity to ask these wonderful women questions. However, I would love to kick it off with my own question, and then we'll jump to the audience. So you're going to have to use your stage voices. We don't have microphones to pass around. So if you have a question, just raise your hand. I'll call on you, and we'll let them know. But first off, I'm curious. You guys run not similar programs, but you're supporting similar communities. Can you explain to the audience what you believe to be your program's superpower?
I'm trying to think of all the things, you know? So as I said before, we focus on adults. Not only do we focus on the learning aspect, but we also have another piece to this. You have to remember where we are. We're in the Midwest, and we're talking about topics that a lot of people shy away from. So we're also providing and creating safe spaces and communities where we can begin to have dialogue and begin to have conversations, because that's the thing that is needed as well. So I think that's one of our superpowers, is that we're creating communities and safe spaces for people to have hard conversations and in a safe space and in a loving way?
I would say for me, it's been building community. So when I started, I was just by myself, and it's been about educating people and allowing people to join into the conversation and giving them a task. So it could be as simple as selling t-shirts. We've sold tons of t-shirts last month in terms of women equity, but it's because we just told guys, come in together. We're trying to support female entrepreneurship, especially this is young girls who are in middle school and high school. And people stepped up because when you build community, you're telling them it's also you. It's just not you. It's not me, but it's all of us doing it together.
Anything else, Matt?
I was just going to say that it's sort of echoing what Theresa was saying, is that we have also those opportunities for hard conversations. We also have time to just have fun, because I think we're all just trying out here to do the best that we can. We have opportunities for people just to get to know other people that are having the same struggles, looking for a job, looking to connect with other businesses, but ways for us to connect everybody, not just in the classroom, but in not so high pressure situations. So just keep it.
Any questions from the audience to kick us off? Who wants to be the very first question asker at StartupBREW Fargo? Nick Lear, I see you up there.
Do you ever run into people, especially with the adults, who just say, I can't? I've had experience trying to teach basic stuff, and sometimes that wall of I can't continues to be front. How do you take a step through that? Having fun, that those are great ways to people to approach it.
I will tell April's story, who is one of our other co-founders. She was trying to take was it JavaScript? What was the class you were trying to take? Yeah, it was a JavaScript class by herself. She was doing an online class, and she's like, this sucks. Like, trying to learn stuff by yourself. You're like out here, you're like, okay, I'm trying stuff, nothing's working. I don't know why this isn't working. But then she came to a happy hour and was like, okay, I have a group that can hold me accountable to say, hey, this sucks for everybody. How can we fix it? How can we work through it together? And having an opportunity to troubleshoot things, having those places to say, man, this is hard, but also I want to do this. I want to learn it, and having people to support you through that. I think the hardest part is getting people to walk in that door to say, this sucks. It's the same thing as like taking the first question in class. You're like, I don't want to be the person that doesn't know this stuff. I was there in my calculus class. I didn't know what was going on. And having that opportunity to say, I don't know what I'm doing. That's okay. We're here to help you. That's our vibe.
So, how did the three of you meet? And what inspired you to start Arise?
So she asked how the Arise team met.
So we were with a previous organization doing kind of similar work, but they weren't really about what they said they were about, so we said bye. And I was going to be the chapter leader of that organization, and I was sort of the point person, and then I met April through that one happy hour, and I was like, you're dope, let's hang out. And then I met Theresa at actually the first Lady Boss Summit in Fargo, and I was like, I want to be her friend. And then we started talking about this, and I was like, guys, I don't know if I like this thing, but should we want to try something different? And they're like, yes, let's do it. Like, let's get together, let's make it happen, let's show our community that this is a space where this can be successful. And I mean, you guys probably have other things that stick out in that story, but that's the foundation of it. Friendship, and then also we all kind of fit very different buckets of things that there's just stuff I don't like, and I'm like, I need help with this, and there's other things, those we complement each other in that way, that we sort of fill each other's cup.
I'm a transplant here, if you didn't hear by my y'alls. I'm from North Carolina. I moved here 3.5 years ago when I accepted my job with Microsoft. And so coming into this space, I made it a point to immerse myself in the community and get to know people in the community. And when that happened, I met April and Kirsten, and we just fit. I always laugh because you would see the three of us and be like, I don't know how they work, how they are together, but we do. We work really well. Each of us have our strengths and we have our weaknesses, and where one person is weak, the other person is strong. So we just complement each other very well. And I'm so grateful and thankful that they accepted me into this community. I've felt nothing but warmth in the Fargo Moorhead area, and so that's how the three of us met. And I really look forward to continuing our Rise journey, and it's been a journey. Jordan.
So when you're working with students, how do you generate that initial spark, that initial interest? How do you get them hooked, I guess? What's your pitch to the students to help them see that this is something they can do?
It's in what they build first. Kids are very, if you can do a project based immediately, so I always believe like they should learn HTML, CSS, 1 hour done, put something up. My name is, put your picture, put a link on I always challenge them to put a link of their favorite music from YouTube. And then they go home bragging all day that they did something. So it's that initial first project. I think when we teach computer science, I don't know if you guys know a little bit about the curriculums we have in the schools. I've sat through some of them. It's so technical. If you know tech, kids are learning binary numbers in high school. There's no way you expect a kid to do binary numbers and say, oh my God, I want to be a computer science major. So I've been sitting through these classes and I'm like, man, this is not how we do it, because you lose them. So for us, mine's a very different approach. Let them build the first thing. When we do a Python class, I don't know if you guys have kids who learn Scratch, the MIT Scratch. That's the best place to teach them Python, at least, the loops, the variables, right? So that's what I do. I'm like, first time you're with me, you gotta go home and brag about something. So.
And adults aren't that different.
Very true.
It's not rocket science for adults either. You want to find those little wins. So it's not that hard and scary. There's things that you can do that it doesn't take a really big lift for it to make it attainable or realize that you're, like, I am doing it. Adults have those same little incremental things. There's a little bit different on the adult learner side of wanting to have ways that they can own their learning as well. Those motivate adults different a little bit than children, and depending on the age. But there are so many more, levels as you get sort of up in the curriculum. But that first thing is just having them be able to say, I can do this, and leave the classroom saying, like, I did it today, done. And they'll want to come back and keep learning more.
Are you using a curriculum or making your own curriculum? It sounds like you're making your own curriculum because of what you're finding.
You can go for it.
Okay, it's also a combination. So we offer a lot of free classes where we kind of lift off of Free Code Camp, the Odin Project, a lot of those big name freebies. But there are things that we are building in-house to have our own instructors be able to put their own flavor on things and create those real-life examples that are our own, I guess, and unique in that front. But there's more classes that we want to build out ourselves. We just haven't gotten there yet.
But if you're interested,
we'll take your help, or if you know somebody. But we have a mix of things where there's so many things already built that exist that are sort of freebies, and they're good. It's good curriculums because it's free doesn't mean it's not valuable. And so we take a lot of those things sort of smoosh together an experience for a student.
So curriculum, most of the curriculum that's been created does not assume the accurate skills that kids have in the schools. So they're being created by amazing people, probably Harvard, Stanford, right? It doesn't assume a Midwest kid probably growing up rural Iowa or rural Fargo. So it's assuming that every kid has accessibility or they're smart to a certain level. So it's important that you find, I really don't think there's a perfect curriculum right now. We have to build as we go, yeah.
And it'll also change, much like tech changes all the time. So it'll keep changing, and those examples change, and people learn differently. So there's not only going to be one curriculum or one example or one thing. There's going to be something that turns a light bulb on for somebody else that maybe didn't for somebody in the classroom.
So Nancy, you are coming into the community. You guys have been here. I am curious to know maybe if you could share what excites you the most about the region, And since you guys have been here, where do you see potential for growth in the community? You want to start off with the high, Nancy? What makes you jazzed about Fargo?
Well, first, it's nice that you can sit outside and do like a startup brew. And let me tell you, I've been in tech for about 7 years. The first group that ever invited me to speak at a 1 million club is you guys, and that's why I drove all the way here, just to tell the rest over there, you didn't see me, but these guys did see me, so that means a lot. I've also been able to do a lot of online activities with you guys, and I've met some amazing young people around here. There's so much energy. I don't know if you guys know this. Please don't take it for granted. There's so much innovation energy you guys have we don't have in Des Moines right now. I think a lot of people build and then they just are done building. So there's no spaces for young people to, I don't know, I just feel a different vibe. That's why I was like, I'm gonna be here till Friday. I'm gonna be exploring food. I love food. So we went to Luna yesterday and I think we're heading somewhere. But it's been great. So.
I think the thing that really excites me about this area is the energy, as Nancy was saying. I'm from the South, and hospitality and Southern, it's a real thing, and I immediately felt that, although it's a little bit different here. I want to hug you and invite you over to my house and cook you dinner, but it's the same type of... Now, I'm telling you, Kirsten and April know, I cook. But anyways, let me get back. The energy here is very, it reminds me of the South. People are so willing to help, although it may be a little bit, at an arm's length, as I'll say. But people are really willing to help here, and that's the one thing that I do appreciate here in the area, and the thing that has keeps me here coming back. And when I come back to Fargo, I'm like, oh, Fargo. I know it sounds weird, but living in North Carolina, it's a very hustle and bustle, and it also feels like a startup here. Everybody is willing to just try things and pivot and fail fast, as we say, and so those are the things that I really do like about the area. I can't remember the other question. Part two.
Yeah, where do you see potential for more growth in our community?
I'll just say take a look at the audience. That's all I'll say. There is room for all people. If we want to build a tech industry that looks like the world, that involves creating that here. I don't know any other way to say it. We need people of all backgrounds, ethnic makeups, to also come here so that we can have conversations and that we can explore and talk. And I think that's one of the areas of opportunity that we have here in the area.
I mean, I'll echo all of the same energy things. I think there's room for improvement I think we say, like, hey, come hang out with us, but we don't really go out to say, hey, I want you to come, and are really intentional about what that partnership looks like, or took a look at the audience and say, who's missing? Who don't I see here? And taking that actual next step of being like, okay, well, they're not here, why not? And ask the question, have a conversation, grab coffee, drinks, I don't know, whatever you want to do. Make it so it's not so much of a barrier, I guess, or of a expectation of well, I said you could come, why didn't you come? Well, anybody in group text where you're like, well, I said you could come, why didn't you show up? Well, you didn't really say I could come. You didn't say, I want you to see you there. I want to see your face there. I want to have your contributions. And not just be there, but contribute. Ask a question and say, I want to be a part of this conversation. I think there's definitely room for improvement. There's ways that we can chart that path forward. It's not a lot of chaos, that's for sure.
Do we have maybe one final question from the audience? The last person that asked a question at the first ever StartupBREW. I'm just gonna keep writing it. Katie.
So you guys said some awesome things about our community and what we're doing here and the sense of community that we have. How do we better share that story with people outside of the Fargo and West Fargo region and have more people excited about coming here and joining us, so that we do have a more diverse crowd running in the technology and just overall community and what we know?
That's a tough one. I'm gonna be honest, that's a tough one because I had to come here from North Carolina, right? And so I don't have an answer for you, but I can say that we just continue to talk about Fargo, put it on the map, and let it be known that when you think of the Midwest, you automatically think, oh, I don't think I should be there. But no, we can spin that talk and say, no, have you actually gone to Fargo? They're doing amazing, dope things. The startup community is great. The technology industry is really cool. Let me show you some industries and some organizations that are here that are doing amazing work. Why don't you come and take a look? I think that's what it's going to have. People in the community actually being advocates for the Fargo-Moorhead area.
Keep growing your championship network of people saying this is the place. Also, only do live streams when it looks like this outside, and might be all right. But not avoid the other 8 months of the year. But no, in seriousness,
This winter
it wasn't that bad. I don't know, climate change. I don't know. Other concerns, I guess. I guess having those people that are the loud advocates, the champions, can continue to do that, but have it not just be certain voices. Diversify that audience, continue to do that. I think we're only our best advocates as well. It's the same as when you're going to look for a job. You're only your best voice when you walk into that room. So continue to be that voice.
So can I answer that? Greg, I haven't met Greg, but he's my friend. Is he here today? Oh my God. So somebody introduced me to Greg, and this is what happened to me. And he's been very intentional. He'll email me and say, hey, do you need me to connect you to who? This is a guy who lives here, live in Des Moines. So you do have great people are here. I think it's collectively telling your story. Your story is beautiful. The guy that was speaking earlier and telling you how much money you guys are getting, I'm like, oh my God, I have to copy that and paste it and tag a lot of people in Des Moines because we have none of that. So please celebrate the little news and just tag people like in Iowa and say, you guys need to do better.
Period. Do better.
Do better. In terms of as a female founder, I don't take those things lightly, especially when somebody like Greg reaches out and says, I got you back. As a Black female founder, man, let me tell you, it's a hustle. Every day it's constantly fighting for funding, this, that, right? So I really appreciate it if somebody's just that a little bit intentional, and maybe you guys should continue being intentional and finding other entrepreneurs who kind of look like me and say, hey, I got you back. Are you starting a business? Come here. And when they come here, sit with them. Introduce them to people. Don't make them stand there and feel like they're all alone, right? That's how you build community. So I'm very thankful for meeting Greg, introducing me to Emma, and then Emma and I just kicked it off. And if you continue to do that, but it cannot just be those two, it'll be fantastic. But share your story.
Well, we do have one final question that we'd love to ask. We have almost 120 people here. What can each of us do to help propel the work that you're doing and energize it and move it forward?
That URL that I talked about, seriously, that page, it tells you where we want to go with the Rise communities and how we can get there together. So I would just say, www.arisecommunities.com/support. Look at that page. If you're interested, come and pull me and let's talk about what it looks like to partner with the Rise communities and propel our mission forward.
Well, I was hoping we were going to introduce you to a soft launch for learning platform, but we're not ready yet. But anything in tech, you're always building. Like yesterday, we're like, oh my God, we still got to do like 10 other things. So I will be sharing that information with Emma. It's something called Building the Tech Pipeline. We're partnering with some great partners to build intentional curriculum. One of them is just on basic innovation. Like this year, we're talking about smart cities and having kids come up with a challenge on that. So I'll just share with Emma, but if you want to reach out to me, she's got my contacts. I'm always looking forward to interesting conversations, and especially young people and women who are still navigating entrepreneurship, please reach out to me because I know how hard it is. Yeah. You're not alone if you're thinking of studying at whatever age. We got your back.
And
I'm gonna say like 2 other things. Yes, support us, but also if you're looking for volunteer opportunities, we are also looking for instructors, or if you want to help us build some curriculum, if you want to share your time with us, if you want to hang out, we're always looking for new people to join our community.
And they will be around afterwards, so please say hi to them. Let's give these ladies a round of applause.
That's all we have for this week's StartupBREW Fargo. Thanks for listening in. StartupBREW Fargo is energized by Emerging Prairie, an organization dedicated to connecting and celebrating the entrepreneurial ecosystem. We'd also like to thank the following sponsors for their support: Pro Resources, Brady Mertz, the FMCVB, Office Sign Company, Fargo Parks, and MidCo. See you next time.